you want to do? Hopefully, yeah, Tupelo.
You won't be able to carve them because of the internet.
Work on that on the game fair.
Yeah.
You got another mark, please?
You run the grain in a certain way? Or
Yeah. You and I are the long way. You and I are sitting together. You and I are sitting
There's
together.
no rough on that side. You got,
Oh,
you don't have any that looks like this?
No.
What, this one?
Not that white one.
Okay, there you go. It's softer.
I know how to look for Tupelo.
Yep. It's all the same block.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The whiter the lighter.
Well, tonight we'll talk about carving a feather pin. And we're going to carve and paint the wood duck side pocket feather, which is going to give us a lot of different techniques, painting vermiculation and white and black, and hopefully a nice project. So, you see the feather, it's kind of cup shaped. This, of course, is on its own, but it'd be laying on other feathers like this. So that's what we'll try to achieve in this here. But we'll probably keep it a little flatter than what the real feather is, just because it needs to sit on a hat. So we don't want to get too carried away getting it too cupped. But so tonight we'll carve this one out, sand it, and get going on the wood burning of it, and next month we'll paint it up. So I'm just gonna start carving away. I'm gonna cup it somewhat this way and dish it out that way. No, I don't think I'm gonna take out much wood underneath. Keep it flat so it
Your knife's
yep, sat on it.
That is hip pocket.
Was that work done pretty good?
Yep. Thumb feels good,
Left-handed or right-handed?
right?
Boy, that's quiet. You could probably actually watch TV and do that at the same time.
Yeah.
As long as you vacuum up your chips.
Yeah.
That's what I could do with all my fingers. Your fingertips.
See, I'd still be going,
Scotty's
Oh,
making
you wouldn't turn
motor
it on,
noises
right?
again.
You wouldn't turn the motor on, you'd just be running. I said, what's that noise?
Right.
Hey, cool, we're in a church now. Such a pervert.
Pre-verse.
Will you keep the back of that flat then? Or will you,
I'm kind of rounding it this way first, then I'm going to bring
but the underside?
I'm going to keep it pretty flat.
Right.
I'll carve it out some. If you want to keep a flat spot for the pin itself.
Put it up in your head. It's curvature. So that hat.
now you're not going to go home and make like 50 of these, are you?
Why do we bother?
Why do you shoot when you guard?
Yeah.
You're living,
Most of the time I have my tongue sticking out.
you're going a million miles.
Well, Tom's got his
Jaw
tongue
just
stuck
as
out
hard
there.
as-
Put those chips in your pocket, you could make a whole school of minnows. Tom says it's.
Anybody got any Tupelo from Kurt lately?
I did at the World. He's,
What was it going for?
I don't know. It seems to have gone up, but not.
More than 10 a foot.
Boy.
The
He
last
just,
stuff I
He's
You know,
going in
he-
for an operation or something.
if you go
I
out.
think you think with Katrina there'd be a lot of down
I
trees.
talked to Hidel, he lives in New Orleans, and I asked him about Kurt, and he said, oh, that guy's expensive. He says, nobody buys that from him. He says, we go out in the woods and we cut down our own tupelo for nothing, he says.
Yeah, well, Last time I went walking in the woods, I didn't find
You
the
didn't
fugo.
see it?
So I guess we just gotta suck it up and pay.
Or carve out a hackberry.
He says he squares all his blocks off just perfect. He says, we don't do any of that. We just rough it out, get the rough size blocks.
You'd probably trade them for some butternut. They don't have butternut down there, do
They
they?
don't have basswood either.
was it?
Yeah, well, that's good. You don't want to use basswood.
I got a number at home. You've got a guy up in
Piece of wood there and say, oh, good carve.
Hugo that's got butternut.
Here,
you buy
it. Appeal to
Got his number at home.
All right.
Yep. Got it from Kurt. He gave me a guy's name, then another guy gave me his name, and he didn't have any. He says, call this guy in Hugo. So I called him, and actually I didn't call him yet, but he said he does have butternut.
Okay. Wonder if it's the guy from Vikings.
Oh, that's, yeah,
France.
France. Yeah, he's a good guy to deal with.
Forest Lake.
Does Kurt give anything of a deal for quantity to buy?
Kurt always usually makes deals.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if we got $4,000, we
Yeah.
put in, it would behoove us.
Wee white man.
$4,000 you could buy a
27
son on
we
it.
have.
First time I used it.
That's why you circumcised.
You got 4 blades in it. It's an I brand, a German I brand, so the decal fell out and I glued an I in there. That was kind of cool. Made in Sullivan, Germany.
Too much wood dust. Oh,
Especially that mahogany or whatever that stuff was, what was it?
That's Honduras mahogany.
Doesn't all go
That
outside.
stuff was pretty cancerous, you know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm
neighbors
pickled,
are-
I'm pickled inside. I can't get cancer.
Anything from South America.
Any form.
Yeah. A lot of that rainforest, some of it can put you in cardiac arrest, just like right now.
Maybe
If your
that's what you
heart's-
had, Jim. Yeah, but I read all the
I think it was a
hamburger. But there's a lot of things that are supposed to be coming out of rainforest too, you know. Future of
That's the
medicine and some
Columbia
things. Not wood, but.
Isn't that what, when I talked to,
That shit's good.
when I talked to Scott down there in
Yeah, that's Scott.
Prescott, they did a test on him down at Mayo Clinic, and that turned out that doctor was a woodworker too.
Yeah.
And they could identify everything he'd ever been exposed to, all these exotic things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a whole ton of it in his
Speaking of
lungs and in
Scott,
his
have you
blood
been fishing with him?
and everything
You been
else.
fishing
And
with Scott lately?
all the years
I
of
think he
painting.
fished all year.
How's he doing? They were-
I was gonna call Rita, as a matter of fact, last week, and I got sidetracked. I'm gonna call him.
Well, he's still working, isn't he?
Yeah. I
Barely.
Really?
Though the
saw him
last,
last February, I think I was down there. When was it?
I'll have to stop sometime. We go through Prescott.
Well, you know, after I talked to you, that was several months ago, I called him up and I said, Scott, what's going on? You know, I heard you're having some really bad health problems. He says, what? He went through that episode a year ago at the World, you know, right after the World.
Yeah.
But then,
He looked good enough. He looked good when I was there.
when I talked to him a couple of months ago, I told him, yeah, I heard you were practically on death's door, and he bust out laughing. He says he never heard nothing about it.
Well,
you gotta ask Rita.
He's lying, because I sat down there at Christmas time, went down there and got some stuff, and he was sicker than a dog. That's when he'd been to Mayo Clinic.
Really?
Big diagnosed with he was right at
Yeah, see, this was
some
since-
he had some precondition for a really bad blood disease.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he was telling me is, you know, he was checking out.
That's the way Rita made it sound to me.
Yeah. So maybe he just didn't want to alarm you.
That could be.
He might owe you some money or something.
I just got one of my ducks down there. Can't go yet.
He maybe only wants to pay 6 months rent at a time.
Yeah. Well, I hope he's not sick. That'd be better, yeah. It's a fun place to go into if you've never stopped by his taxidermy place.
Yeah, you go down the hole down in the basement. You go in.
Yeah, you go in the back door now.
Yeah. He's
I
got a
don't know if
door.
you can get in from up above now or not.
You used to.
Well, there's still a stairs that goes down there, but
You have to go in
through
the
somebody
back
else's.
of the cashier, where the cashier.
Still that gun shop up on top? Oh, God, yeah, this gun shop up there. Why is it everybody's such a redneck in a gun shop? This guy, those guys are, the guy he was associated with, they've had a falling out. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
was that Lee?
Yeah.
Was that Lee back
But there's
then?
another gun shop up there, it's got every kind of gun in the world in it. But this guy just hates everybody. I mean, he's
Would you use
anti
power on
this,
this
anti,
at all?
just, you don't know anything political. I mean, it's unbelievable.
So what you have to do, your father, who sells handguns, huh?
Here, we'll let Tom just keep whittling, I'll pass mine around.
Puerto Rican, Mexican.
Oh,
So you're hollowing the underside?
Yeah, I'm taking out some wood out the backside, just
Just to give the thinness,
yeah,
somewhat on
thinness,
the edges.
somewhat of an appearance of
Just
a
bring
tan.
it to the edges though, aren't you?
Kind of like a fish fin, just keep it thick, but make
Yeah.
it look thin.
Tommy, is that a Knox knife?
Kind of like you
Yep.
figured. Now you see me?
No, I
you
can,
don't.
no,
Now you see me? Now you don't.
there's no thin part
Those are
about
for
me
sharp.
anymore,
Pardon?
except my humor.
Set,
maybe.
set,
I don't know yet.
set in your pocketbook.
Yeah, in my pocket, yeah, in my
Your
wallet.
instructions?
He's on his third
He
one.
did, yeah.
About your pocketbook.
Yep.
You wait
What?
till your kid gets to be a senior in
No.
high school,
Yeah.
then talk to me.
they never quit.
Hey, is there anybody that's into pointing dogs? I got a friend that's got a bunch of pups, and he's got some dogs for sale. They're pups now. I think they're 6 weeks, 7 weeks old. I think they're German Shorthairs.
What are you looking for a pattern for, Doug? On your shirt.
Back your shirt.
My back of my shirt. I didn't buy them. I wear them.
He's looking through my pattern book. You got a pattern of a steelhead? And I'm going, oh, I know there's one in there somewhere. Also, I just look over and saw his shirt.
Well, Tom's Carve, my son has a good friend who's from South Dakota. His brother lives in Alaska. So they went up to Alaska here a week or so ago and had a great time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it wasn't commercial. They took the story of your life.
That's the thing that's always kept me from doing the baby duck. Try to make it look downy.
Yeah.
Try to do it, baby. Even with just yarn.
Yeah.
White yarn. Lots of sawdust.
String it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I untwisted it, you know, and fluffed up the fibers and glued it right on the cap. What kind of yarn?
What is that, Tom? Huh? What is that? 120.
Yeah, it's belly button wood. Are we gonna have that big sander out there this year? The two-handed one?
Yeah, I might bring that. Wait, you want to borrow it?
Yeah. I might.
Bring your own grill.
Or you bring that chainsaw out there to do those stairs.
Yeah, we don't mess with chainsaw carvings out there anymore. At least I don't think we will. You never know.
Don't worry, I'll wear my safety apparatus.
With your-
My sandals and I think I had safety glasses on anyway.
You did that time you used that one hand drill when you.
I didn't have safety glasses on
when you
either.
were chopping
Wear your
it
old
down.
sheriff-proof jockey shorts.
These guys are giving me crap because I had that, you know, the angle grinder with the chainsaw thing on there. And I'm with my sandals, going standing on it with shorts on.
Well, you had your steel-toed sandals on, didn't you?
Yeah. The only way you turn it on and off is unplug it.
Yeah, because the thing,
No guard.
no guard.
It's OSHA right there. They got you.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing you do when you bring home a table saw or a bandsaw or whatnot is take off all that safety equipment. It's in your way.
It's illegal. Absolutely.
Nope.
The funniest,
Huh?
Lawyer.
Exactly. That's all that it's for.
Marv isn't so sensitive, but the funniest story you had is that dog that come in and took a dump.
Yeah.
Hey, that still bothers me, don't say it.
You don't look that sensitive. Well, you weren't there, so.
We did took that dog about 3 seconds to do that.
You were in the booth, but none of us even saw it, you know?
He must have been holding it all day.
You must have.
He was just moving.
Was it a dog or one of you guys?
That was a dog.
He's like,
Oh, we
look at all
laughed
these
so hard
nice
about
wood
that.
chips.
Yeah, I didn't see it happen either.
No, you went out to get some of Ron Sherrill's walleye fingers that he charges $55. If you sell, Rich, if you sell all those pins out there, you might have enough for one of Ron Sherrill's walleye fingers. He's the only one that makes any money on it.
Ganders or whatever, Xander figures.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, he's the only one that makes money out there.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Is
no.
that real walleye or is that Xander you say? Is that?
No,
It's
that's
a walleye.
Asian carp.
Oh, Xander's a walleye.
You want to get there early so you can have some breakfast.
Yeah.
Get some of those. Get some of those pancakes. You don't have to worry about any kind of salmonella. They make them well done.
Yeah.
And those ones we had were doughy inside.
Yeah, with black on the outside.
Yeah.
That's Asian.
Boy, they sure did advertise them over the loudspeaker. That's
Black
why,
and
that's why
Key
we went down
pancakes,
there.
Exactly. They were too, boy.
Well, hell, it's supposed to be an outdoor show.
No,
What
it's
the
just
hell?
game carriers.
No.
I kind of rough sanded it for now with 120 grit. And I drew the shaft, feather shaft in there. And then some flow lines. A couple of these feathers you can see some ripples and wrinkles and stuff, so we'll add one of those in there.
You put a flip in there. In one.
Flip?
Show them how to do a flip.
The split or split?
A flip.
Flip.
Where one of them lays on top of the other.
Yeah. Get a feather to do a flip.
You don't want that.
You got extra feathers there?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I don't know, do we?
What? Hey, you gotta make everything perfect.
Huh?
It's gotta be perfect.
Perfect. I'll throw a split in and some ripples. So I got these lines here.
Oh, those pins don't always do all this stuff now.
So with the ripples, I'm going to take a
Cone bit?
cone bit.
Nice round one, that worked well.
Just a chisel here, U-gouge.
I got one of those.
Just carve and follow that line.
You
in
use
there.
it to open paint cans with, don't you?
Clean my fingernails.
So I'm going to do another one next to it.
Yeah.
And another one. So I'm going to put 3 in there. 3.
You're splitting it just on one side?
I'm just going to put some ripples in there.
Oh, really?
That's just first part of it there. I started from the shaft and worked out following those flow lines.
When I talked to
Now I'm just gonna subtly,
Sportsman Cove, I talked to him, he said the sloughs are actually almost back up, lakes are almost back up to where they were originally. They know they had gone down.
smooth them out a little bit,
When I
just
talked
tie them
a
in
couple weeks ago,
together.
I called it a talker, and he said,
And once you
"There's
sand it, it'll
You guys have been getting periodic rain though. out
it'll
there.
look,
Yeah, that's some
roll,
feathers,
give it a roll look,
in
yep.
May. Yeah, we can get much front ends in though. He said the lakes were back, you know, they'd gone down some. He said they were almost up to where they were. Because I didn't even notice it, was paying attention.
I haven't been out since
Sand that out a little bit.
May, so. In April.
Looks like a leaf. No leaf.
I was up on Devil's Lake, Dutch Hill.
You been fishing up there? You okay?
Yeah, my son died up there.
Now, I noticed like on the pattern,
Fish the timber with
it's
Robert?
rounder,
When we were there, yeah.
you know, on the cutout. And
That's what I figured.
is it just a figment of my imagination when I look at that? You know, I see that straight bar. Is it just an optical illusion?
Yeah,
'Cause
there,
I think it's a little. Oh, okay. Wow, it is. I thought it was like there was a flat end.
I think this bar is narrow at the top and wider at the bottom, so that
Okay.
it
For a fishing tournament.
And it gives it kind
gives
of
it a,
an illusion, yeah.
Yeah.
Until you do, when you do that, then I go, oh, yeah. Okay.
That was my impression too, that it was more of a flatter.
Flatter feather, yeah, not so round. But yeah, when you stuck that feather on there, just like that, it's
Amazing.
You didn't enjoy it?
he was mad because he forgot all his reindeer for the tournament. He was out there, he didn't fish a week before. And never
When we were out there, a couple of them guys found it. Sitting there, all you saw was.
Oh, that's possible, yeah.
Where was that?
Devil's Lake.
Yeah. They get those swells and then those flat boats, they spear waves and Rangers are built so they don't sink for a reason because they sink a lot or fill up a lot. It's real easy to spear
This one
waves.
was straight up and down.
Yeah. That's because the
That
motor.
wasn't a Ranger, no, that was you don't see many Rangers up there.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all there is to a ripple. I'll throw a split in there and then I'll pass it around.
That was the big.
Again, following your flow line.
Yeah, F something.
Scott brought a couple feathers for me, or for us here, so I want to keep one, but if you want to take one, you can. There's a few extra here.
Color reference.
Yep. You notice too, they're kind of pale looking.
Yeah.
Pale looking now. I mean, versus like a wood duck. The color, when you put all these feathers and layer them, it's almost this color. So once you layer all these together, it builds up that color. Builds up that yellow color. The more.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like acrylics, just keep going over and over and over.
So what color would you paint that then? The darker, deeper color?
I think
or
just
make it look
just to make it more rich looking, I think we'll paint it more yellow than what you see here. This is almost white and black, but okay, my PE. Pass that around pretty soon. Yep.
Pass his around.
You know, I kind of lost it, I don't know where I'm going now.
Okay, I just drew a big feather split on there and carved that out, and then I'll use my wood burner to clean it up. I'm just taking my V tool here, starting it up like this at the base. And I'm going to just follow one side of the line. As I get closer to the outside, I'm going to kind of turn it on the side. This knife is dull.
Stand back, Mark.
Yep. Now I'll go back and do the other side. And I'm just going to follow the other line.
You're making a split, but you're not actually making a split. You're giving an illusion of a split.
Yeah, I'm going to clean it up here though. I'll get through there.
South Dakota? We have 4,000 licenses, I thought.
Yeah, not even that many. I think this year it's 3,750.
It was 37. They also have 500 here up in that northeast corner, 3 days, 500.
Yeah, and you can go out to the river with the guides, and there's all kinds available that are, with their guide deals.
No, we never saw 100 out here now.
Smells like that stuff I used to smoke in high school.
We used to
I gave
smoke
up the
corn
great
silk.
wine and started my pot.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something, but I couldn't think of anything.
Come on, I'm waiting for one of you guys that can put something in there.
I was gonna say, yeah, I got in trouble for taking the pencil scrapings out of the pencil sharpener.
We used to smoke corn silk when we were out pulling out corn out of the beans, and you rip that corn silk off, you know, and
Well, that explains it.
it just.
Wow, it all comes into view.
Something about
That's why I'm in good shape compared to that pencil sharpener stuff. There's a lot of lead.
You ever smoke Catalpa?
No, those beans.
they used to.
I can bring you some of them. We got them in our yard.
When I was a kid in Chicago, we used to call them lady cigars. We used to smoke them.
Yeah.
You dry them out, and then they're real fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
Went around the block.
No, I mean, do you grind them up or
No,
cut off one end?
The whole thing.
They're a big long
I
pod.
know what they are.
Like smoking a grape.
What you do
They're a
is you
thin pod, you know, like
Yeah,
finger thick,
yeah.
and then they'll dry out, cut the ends, and you can smoke
Mark
them.
the moon.
Well, when you're little, all you want to do is get it in your mouth and blow it back out. That's all you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You turn into a catalpa worm. You ever seen a catalpa worm?
No.
Oh, those trees.
They're ball-headed.
We don't have any on our.
Great bluegill bait, baby.
Well, it's too cold up here. There aren't very many catalpa trees up here. They're
Two
like
of them in our
that.
front yard.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of them. Many
And there
others.
used to be tons of them. I'll tell you another thing too, there never used to be possums up here.
Yeah.
either.
No.
There is all over now.
Catalpa's excellent bow wood.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bowl.
For archery bow.
Oh, it's soft.
It's an excellent bow wood if you
Really?
try it,
Huh.
yeah.
The other thing Marvin them did is that down those sloughs down there around southwestern, they like to kiss those frogs too.
That's after they smoke the corn silk.
You ever shoot at a frog and you see how high they jump up? They'll jump up 6 feet when you shoot them.
We used to.
Depends on what gauge, huh?
We used to catch them. Flower rods.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
Yeah, we used to.
Oh, they're good eating.
Just for red, put a piece
Yeah,
of
I know
red.
they can eat
red frogs on a
Oh,
hook.
yeah. Well, those frogs will bite on we used to take a little popper that kind of looked like them, and you go down along they call it buckbrush down home, and you'd flip that in, and you see one of those big old bullfrogs.
Oh, big old green thing.
You flip that in there and you
We used to take a willow pole and just take a hook and a piece of red cloth and just dangle up.
You set the hook on them then?
Just sit there on the shelf. But I tell you, the things they stretch out that way, oh God, they're big old things. Cook them up. God, they're good.
You know, you say the possums are all moving up here now. When was the last time you saw one of those black salamanders with the yellow spots? Remember those? They were everywhere. No, the salamanders, the big
Black
things.
ones with the red spots.
Yeah, red, yellow spots.
Yeah, they come out in the fall. I mean, they
See them all the time around.
No,
No, it's
I haven't seen them in years.
they're just gone.
We still get them.
pollution.
No, they're
Yeah.
salamanders. These are
You live in
salamanders.
That's a toxic water, killed them up.
Well, pollution's hard on them, man.
Well, they have trouble living in tar and concrete also.
They have trouble living underneath the
Did you see the show, the news about the baby fox kittens that were all stuck together?
Yeah.
Oh, what a bunch of shit.
They let them loose and somebody shoots them because they don't want them around.
Should have shot.
We used to take those salamanders and, you know, when you grab them, they get that milk comes out the back, you know, whatever. We used to grab them and get them all pissed off and whack each other across the face. And I asked my son, I said, did you guys ever do that? And he's like, what? None of his generation have even seen one of them salamanders.
You probably just taught your son to do that.
Huh?
You probably just taught your son to do that.
Yeah, I would have showed him how to do that. That's fun.
Your son does something else with your stuff that's white and.
What year were you gonna pass that around?
Okay, got it sanded up.
As well, carving through instead of carving.
Yeah. You get bandsawed out too. You get,
He was having.
You banned
I just haven't tried it on Google, so I'll try it on that.
Yeah, if you Google it, you know,
I couldn't get it to come up.
first of all, you bring it up on Google, there's about 3 or 4 things that pertain to the target club. Just hit the top link there, and that'll pop right up.
What brand of bird is that, Tom?
You got a dial up?
Detail master.
Detail.
Yep, this Sabre, S-A-B-R-E. I think there's a couple different models.
The Buick, the Sabre, right?
Yeah.
What is this one here? Wood carving Vikings?
Yeah, that's that. Minnesota wood carving.
Where's that, out of Forest Lake?
Oh,
No, maybe right at
Knights of Columbus.
yeah, Knights of Columbus is about 76th and Lindale. 80, 83rd and Lindale.
Really?
Armar.
Show Marvin?
Armor.
Sure, the
Oh,
fall
yeah,
and
okay.
the spring and the fall.
Yeah, I knew I'd been there once, I can't remember.
If you want to know how to carve on peach pits, golf balls, gnomes, Santas,
Mostly Santas,
That guy who does the golf balls though, that's neat.
Yeah.
Takes a golf ball and just cuts around it, pulls the one half of it off, and then carves faces in it. So you look at it, it's a golf ball, you turn it over and there's a face. It's kind of neat.
I used to do that in college.
So you hollow more of that?
You know, just a paint job to kind of match the carving.
Yeah.
He sells the Jesus out of them. I mean, unbelievable. And they got knife marks all in them. I mean, they're no two are exactly alike. I mean, they're.
Paint with brush?
No, I just airbrush them.
Oh, you airbrush
Yeah,
them.
he doesn't want to paint them. He just carves them and he uses 2x4s and he goes and raids, dumpsters where they're building a deck. Sometimes wow, I found some cedar. This stuff is soft. That's real easy to work with. Then another one where you got the fish and then all of a sudden there's a big knot, where he kept hitting it. But he sells them.
Wood burn in a feather shaft. And if you look at the real feathers, the base of the feather is wider than, and it almost, there isn't much of one at all towards the tip of the feather. So keep that in mind. So what I do is I take my my wood burner. I'm just gonna basically just follow my pencil line. It'll be wider towards the back, and as I get closer to the tip, they'll be pretty close together.
Do you run it all the way to the tip?
Yeah,
You stop short.
I run it to the tip.
That's your first one?
That's my first side. Now I'll go back and do the other side.
There's not as much smoke coming up this time.
Yep, I got her turned down now.
It's too hard on the fingers when it's that hot.
Like so. So I'm wider at the base, and I got it thin to the top. And that was just straight down. Now I'm gonna take it and lay it on the side. What I'm gonna do is just follow that line. Just laying it like that, up against that burn. And what this is gonna do is raise that shaft up.
Scott, what was that trick you used to do to get the grain of the wood to pop up?
If you did that same thing, all you do is just take a burnisher and burnish that shaft right in there, then put some pencil lead in there, and then sand it off until the pencil lead just disappears. Then take water and put water on there, and then it'll go whoop,
Yeah.
right back.
Cedar really does that.
Yeah. I learned that from some guy at the Northern Nationals who was doing toads. And you look at him and you're just like, well, how in the world do you carve all those little bumps on there? And he says, that's a secret. And finally got it out of him. He just carved the toad, then he pushed all these dots all in it and sand the dots off, stick it in water, and all the little warts would pop up. It's the neatest. Tupelo does it real good.
How do you do the shaft again, Tom?
What was it?
I didn't-
What was
I
the
didn't-
pencil that
You would take a burnishing tool,
Like he did the first step?
yeah, and you would push it in and make an indent, and then you would sand it off till it just goes away, and then wipe some water down. And since you compress the wood and then sand it off the rest, you put the water on there, and it pops back up.
Really? So it's the compression that actually makes it.
That's how I do my lateral line on my fish.
So it just pops.
Yeah, it pops back up.
You got that?
Compress the wood.
You knew that?
I have been. I like it. It seems to last longer.
Suppose we can come to that Swiss gold anymore, is it?
Yeah.
Paper right there. I don't know. I've never found it anymore.
No, I mean, who makes this?
Isn't this Swiss?
Made in Switzerland.
Made in Switzerland.
S-I-A-Q-U-R.
Where do you find it, Tom?
Kurt will have it. And when you bend it over, it still has a little rounded piece on it. It's nice. You can follow your fingers on it and get in there, whereas that stuff you can buy at the Home Depot or whatever,
Cracks.
It cracks, and you end up with little scratches. So that's what I like about this stuff.
Buy it by the buck.
Yeah, it all comes in a roll like this.
Well, it lasts forever. I mean, the older Scandinavians, you're sanding before you do what you do with like running and stuff like that.
Never wears out, it goes down and goes fine.
You know what I just found? The wood shops, they got those big, huge, the big belts. They throw the belts away, and the belt's this long. Only this part, there's this much that they use. There's a section on each end that doesn't get touched. So you can get all different grits. Big long roll.
I go down to the wood shop, and I'd take the belts, and I would use it. I'd cut it up with scissors. At the end of the quarter, I'd have kids that were done with stuff. I'd have them sitting there with scissors cutting that shit up in squares for the carving class.
There we
Every
go.
quarter. I mean, I've never bought sandpaper in office school.
That's hard on the scissors when you cut that sandpaper.
I don't give a rat's ass. It worked well for what I was using it for. It was about as close to sharpening as I ever saw.
What's that?
You didn't buy the scissors anyway.
Now, before I wood burn, I'm going to draw some flow lines on here. And these feathers, your lines that you burn in, kind of run parallel to the shaft. They don't run out like this, or they run kind of down and parallel with a nice, easy swoop. So just keep that in mind. If you look at them, you'll see they come off the shaft and just curve around almost back towards the shaft.
Is it the slow S they call it, or the lazy S? Or?
Yeah, it's kind of an S almost. And so I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna wood burn this whole thing. It'll be here forever, but I'll get some lines in there. And just keep it light. Don't, you'd be amazed how light you go and it'll still show through the paint. When I first started wood burning, deeper the better, otherwise it's gonna not show up in my paint. So it doesn't take much at all.
And if you burn it too deep, can you just fill it in with the gesso type of deal?
It'll help, but yeah, it's probably not.
No.
Just good.
Yeah.
Your burning tip pretty sharp, or is it?
Yeah, I sharpen them and hone them.
I thought you didn't sharpen anything.
My burning tips, I do.
When was the last time you burnt?
A few years.
I'm at work area there.
Takes a little bit to get in a rhythm.
Catholic?
Once you learn how, you never forget it. It's like riding a bike.
You want the burner hot enough so it's not tearing the wood as it goes through. But you don't want it too hot where it's going too deep. So practice on a piece of wood first. Get your temperature right. Should flow through easy.
I mean, how long did you make, 100? You must have been really working hard.
Goes pretty fast. I'll have to have you blow that one and see what you think.
You got everything all set up and you just go from one to the next?
Well, I drill 100 holes. First, you do all the drilling, and then do all the turning.
You can try to turn them all the same or a little bit different.
So they're, again, it's close to my, just by eyeball, I don't measure them. I think that will tune up pretty good, you'll have to try it.
Too close.
Yeah, for when I drill holes, I got an old 100-year-old machine, you know, that tailstock, you know, just turned so nice, you know. I adapted it to my wood lathe, so I slide that back and forth, I slide right up and that's drill about 3.5 inches. This works so nice. You know, you can buy a $1,000 lathe, and that tailstock on the end is just junk. It doesn't matter how much you spend on it, it seems like. But you get one of them old machines, it's an old rivet lathe. Probably the last guy that used it probably made tanks for the World War I, maybe. It weighs about 30 pounds.
Never get an invite over to your shop.
I'm here all the time. It's a one-man shop. You have to walk real slow when you're in that shop. Otherwise you knock something down.
So do you drill the hole all the way through?
To a big hole, a 3/4, and then a 5/8. 3/4 and 3/4 of the way through, and then the mouthpiece of the 5/8.
The shop you want to strive for is Dick Peters' shop.
Do you make the tongue right at the same time, or the plug at the same time you're making the barrel?
Well, I'd make 100 barrels and then make 100 plugs.
Oh, why does it change size as opposed to?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, otherwise you put the plug in the mouthpiece and it won't fit. Too many guys, you see these duck calls where guys put the mouthpiece into the plug into the mouthpiece, you know, and then they don't know which end to put it into.
Nothing going.
So you make it a little bit smaller so the plug doesn't fit into the mouthpiece.
Oh.
See, if you drill it all the way through, then you can put it in the plug in either end.
Well, if you shape it.
Well, the hole's the same size though.
You gotta remember, I've been in the hospital, I had brain damage yet.
You got brain damage?
No. I got brain damage.
No, it's Jim's, it's drain damage.
Yeah. These guys make all these acrylic calls.
They do that the same way, only they sit and polish them.
Yeah.
They gotta polish and polish and polish.
Yeah, the wood burning, it takes